Hello everybody and welcome back to Ys 1 and 2, and we are going into a mine, which is about as dangerous as it sounds. Okay, so the Raston Mine's primary difficulty is the fact that you can only see about 3 tiles ahead of you. The monsters running around here are kind of dangerous in the way that they are every time you enter a new dungeon in an Ys game. However, they also tend to move fast, which means that they can chomp off your life bar before you know it. I think these worms are like the slowest things around here. And on top of that, there's a ton of stuff that we need to pick up in order to advance the game. We already picked up the silver armor last time, which is why I didn't take that much damage from a hit. And here's me, once again picking up a healing potion that I don't need. In addition to the silver armor, there's something else that I don't... well, that I want, but isn't strictly game necessary. Well, at least not in this version of the game. And if I'm wandering around a bit lost, it's because this is the smallest area of view there has ever been in this dungeon. Because this is, after all, based on the PC-88 version of the game. Well, it's not entirely based on the PC-88 version of the game. This is played as one long game together. And also, this system has smooth scrolling, unlike that computer. So I picked up the timer ring, which slows down enemies. I won't really use it in this playthrough, but it's an item that was absolutely crucial to finishing the PC-88 version of Ys 1. There was a segment of that game that was hair-tearingly frustrating without it. It was a room with incredibly fast monsters that would just run you down and kill you if you if you forgot to pick up the timer ring. So this dungeon is 3 floors deep, and there's one thing here that's really helpful to have, and a couple of things that are necessary to advance the game. And this is all without even fighting a boss. Okay, we kill this angry tangerine here. And this is the heal ring. This allows Adol to regenerate health everywhere. However, when the heal ring is equipped, you don't get any of the stat boosts from the other rings. You can really have only one ring active at a time, so it's a matter of priorities. These shafts are refuge rooms, and in Ys 1 and 2 Complete, or its most current iteration, Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles, these were separate rooms where you could regenerate health. Because, well, the sunlight came through, and Adol is photosynthetic. Okay, there's the Rhoda Tree Seed, and we can talk to the trees immediately. We don't have to give the Silver Harmonica to Rhea to talk to the trees in this version, so we can get the Silver Sword whenever we want. And we're gonna go get that as soon as we find the other thing that we need down here. Okay, fight this guy. And there's Rhea's Silver Harmonica. We're not going to give this to her quite yet, because there's some preparation I need to do before I do that in order to take the best advantage of the non-scaling story experience she gives. Because we are going to abuse that story experience in order to murderize the next boss. So, now that we have everything we need, I'm just gonna step outside. Yeah, it's not difficult to navigate to the various exits to the floors or the exit to the cave. The tough part is just wandering around in this mess and finding all the stuff you need. Yeah, the thing is, one of the things we're taking advantage of here is that Ys 1 had a very, I don't know how to put it, I guess, stringent, a low cutoff level cap. Because in the original versions of Ys 1, which is preserved in the most recent versions of Ys 1, you would hit level cap in Ys 1 before you finished with the mine. Before you even fought the boss of the mine. However, in this game, we can continue to gain quite a few levels. Hello, Rhoda. Yeah, this is the Elder Rhoda. One of the townspeople mentioned that there was a silver sword buried somewhere, and we're going to go get it. Okay, bad stuff is afoot. And since we're recognized as a hero, or at least an adventurer, the younger Rhoda gives us the Silver Sword. Basically, we're not allowed to go into the final dungeon without all of the silver equipment. Plus, you know, better equipment is just good to have. Okay, now we're going to go to the deepest parts of the mine, because that begins Phase 1 of our Murder Vagoulian plan. The thing about Vagoulian, those of you who watched my playthrough of Ys 1 and 2 Chronicles, is that he's a boss that can rack up a ton of damage on you, and is only vulnerable for very brief periods to attack. And that's even worse in the PC-88 version, and so it is worse in this version. I'm going to risk a save here. Monsters here give decent experience, and I'm going to take advantage of that. But there's something I'm going to grab before I start my plan. Okay, we're going to go get that chest over there. There's a knight blocking the way, but you should be able to plow through it if you have all the silver equipment. And that's the Dharm key, which is used to open the boss door in this area. So, I'm going to do a little bit of grinding. See you soon! Okay, I took advantage of the enemies down there until the experience stopped scaling usefully, and then I went about a half a level above that. Well, until the experience got cut in half, and then I went, another half level of grinding. So, this is where we're going to give the silver harmonica to Rhea. Okay, Rhea's gratitude just bumped us up 3 levels, and we got the Book of Tova. So, what I did is I've more or less made myself absolutely invincible to the next boss. This is something you can only do in this version, and you can't really make yourself invincible against other bosses in this game, though you can get pretty close. And I am going to absolutely do that in this playthrough. Safe save here. And now we're just going to climb all the way back down. It won't take long. I probably could have gotten away with setting the speed to fast, but I guess that just slipped my mind. Split my mind, yeah! Ys 1 and 2 is a mind-breaking action RPG. Though, to be fair, Ys 1 and 2 really were kind of the first action RPGs as we know them. I tend to make it distinct from more adventure games like Legend of Zelda or Metroid or whatever, because it has the trappings of other kinds of computer RPGs like levels and inherent stats and that sort of thing. Even though there are only 2 stats in this game, and basically for most Ys games. The 2 relevant combat stats that characters have in most Ys game are attack and defense. In later games, this may be modified by the power scaling of certain attack skills, like in Memories of Celceta, but basically from Ys 1 through at least Ys Origin, your useful stats are attack and defense. That's it. Okay, we maybe took a little bit of a nick on the way here, but it's no problem. Unplayed a thing? This one's for you. Yeah, aside from the brief window to hit this guy, we are in no danger whatsoever. And down he goes. Yeah, the thing is, it's not just straight grinding, it's intelligent grinding. Knowing what you can get away with from fighting monsters, and knowing where the story experience bumps are, that sort of thing. Now, about that room. There's a guy in Zeptic Village who said that there's a room, he found that room in the mine, but when he was there, there were 2 statues of the twin goddesses of Ys, but there's no one there now. And there are suddenly a couple of mysterious blue-haired twins. I'm just saying. So, anyway, we're just going to be leaving the mine now that we've accomplished everything, and we're going to be going back to Manea to take care of one last item of business before we actually go into the final dungeon of Ys 1. Yeah, I know. First off, it's kind of a lengthy dungeon. That's sort of the Falcom way. And the other thing about Ys 1 and Ys 2 is that both games are individually short, and even together they're kind of short as far as action RPGs go. But these were games that were trying some new things at the time. These came out in 1987 and 1988 originally. This version came out in 1990. But they were really the first action games to have a plot that developed over the course of the game. Like, explicitly developing in the game as you played it. And even not many computer RPGs did that at the time. Keep in mind that Ys 1 and 2 predate the Gold Box games. And as far as providing the tropes that ended up defining the JRPG experience, the 3 series that were really the most influential of that were Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy, and Ys 1 and 2. Okay, we are now back at Manea. And it may seem a bit strange that we're bothering to buy armor that's weaker than the stuff we already have. But there are reasons for that. You'll see what they are. So we've collected the last 2 Books of Ys. Well, we've collected 2 more of the Books of Ys. There are 6 in total. So let's have Jeva read them to us. That's the last thing we need to do. Fina doesn't have any new dialogue here. They massively expanded her dialogue in Ys 1 and 2 Complete and Chronicles. Okay, terrible violence came upon Ys in the ancient past, and that's a short volume. Well, that sounds like a problem. Huh. And the bad guys are interested in collecting, you know, silver, quote-unquote. Ooh, they are not kidding. Well, thanks for the vote of confidence. So now we go back to the Thieves' Hideout and try to convince Goban to let us go into Darm Tower. Goodbye, overworld music. We won't be hearing you again. Just making sure I have everything I want.
Oh, I have heard about your bravery. You're going to Darm Tower to find the book, aren't you? The locals here call it the Tower of Death. You can imagine why. The door only opens from one direction, so none of the gruesome creatures inside can creep out. Once you go in there, you'll never be able to get back out. If you are really as brave as they say you are, then the entrance to the tower is at the back of this house. Good luck. You'll need...
So, Goban in these games is played by Thomas Hayden Church. Okay, we are now in Darm Tower. We are going to be here for a while. I have quite a bit to say about this dungeon, but that's gonna have to wait until next time when we start climbing this dungeon's 25 floors. I will be seeing you then, and goodbye!